Hello, we are Bill and Danyal James. We are your CCSE missionaries to Uganda. We're part of Agents for Christ and Uganda Kids Project.
I'm Danyal, Bill's wife, and I second what he said. God is doing great things, and we're happy that we can say hello to our church family there in the Southeast. And we just thank you guys for everything that you've done to partner with us in the past, and we love you guys. And so that you know, we're always praying for you.
It was pretty crazy at the beginning because we had 9 students from the Agents for Christ 10th Hour Project here for their 3-month tour in Uganda, and it was a little bit some scary, shaky times if they were gonna make it out of here. But by God's grace, God worked it out. So they got on their flight and they made it safely by miraculous adventure all the way home to New Mexico, and so that was the first thing that was very difficult.
Yeah, on March 18th, the government said all schools, all churches, all businesses, transportation, basically everything was going to be shut down. It actually got increasingly worse after about 3 weeks as they started viewing things that were going on in other countries. The president then tightened things up a bit. So it's been 14 weeks now for us, and just this last Monday, they opened it up for private vehicles to start going freely in our district where we live.
The thing that really saved us is that because we have a medical clinic, me being the director of the medical clinic, we were able to get a pass for me to drive. So some were really scared, like they thought it was Ebola, or they were comparing it to Ebola, and were really afraid and, unsure of life and the future. But then some people in the village could care less. They just didn't care. They get by a bunch of rules, but they didn't follow any of them. So it was very kind of a strange mixture of people that were really scared to people who could care less and that didn't really change at all.
I think that the message that was communicated was that Uganda has a very fragile health system, and there is a high population, like more than 4 million, I believe is the number, that are HIV positive and are really at risk for getting COVID. So I think people took that part of it seriously. There are other health issues that people have in high number here.
And I think the president did a good job by really shutting the borders very quickly, because, if you have 100,000 people sick with coronavirus here, they don't have the ability to handle that number. So thankfully it hasn't, they've controlled it very quickly, and they really have kept the numbers very minimal.
Well, I'll just say one thing that's been a real blessing for our church family here is that radio communication is one of the main ways that people learn about news and other things. So a lot of people in our community have radios. And by God's grace, Bill's been able to still continue the Sunday night radio program. So most of the people in our community, and even communities outside of ours that listen to the Ankoli radio, have been able to hear the Bible verse by verse every Sunday night.
In Uganda, everybody listens to the radio. So being able to continue to teach and through the Bible and pray for people over the radio has been a good thing. I think locally here, because the school, our main focus at our school is we're a Christian school and teaching the Bible, as well as much discipleship. So that all pretty much stopped. And we started doing new things with the kids. We started ministering to the kids at home and continue to teach them. But also we brought all of our teachers back, and now we changed their titles from teachers to local missionaries, and are now pouring into them the Bible and sending them out to go visit the kids at homes and praying for the families. So we've through this difficult time, we've been really doing everything possible to keep teaching, keep discipling, keep spreading the good news to people everywhere around us.
Yeah, and I think that it's brought a spirit of hope back to people, because at home, you can feel so useless when you don't have, anything to do. You feel like you don't have a purpose. So this has definitely, God's used it to spark some hope back in people's lives. And what we hear is that most people are just going out into their gardens, they're doing their work, they're doing what they do, and they're managing okay by God's grace.
I think a lot because the people's lives, COVID didn't change them lives much for the most part. People, they have their own garden, they grow their own food. They don't rely on outside anything. They don't have power. My word for them is that, that even in this hard time, God still wants to use you. God has not stopped working. There may be a lockdown in the country, but God is not locked down, and he wants to use you. And I encourage you to pray every day for divine appointments, that God would give you an opportunity just to speak a kind word or a verse or a word of hope to people who are very much afraid in this difficult time.
Yeah, and again, we just want to thank everyone who has stood with us at Calvary Chapel Southeast, Pastor Doug, Pastor Kevin, all the staff, all the members of our church family. We love you. We appreciate you. None of this is possible, obviously, without God, but I know God uses you all to further his work here in Uganda. So we genuinely, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so, so much.